Hello and welcome back to our course on Excel 2019 Advanced. In this section, I'm going to set you exercise 5, but exercise 5 is going to involve getting some live data from the web. Now, the way that I've done this is certainly not the only way you can do this, and you may well want to adapt this for your own location. But what I've done is to set up a workbook, exercise 5 answer, and it's got two sheets in it. The first sheet is called My Weather, and in it I've got some information about the weather in London. You can currently see it says Sunday, 44 minutes past midnight, and the conditions are passing clouds, quite cool, and we have a temperature of 5 degrees Celsius. I've then got a couple of rows down from that what the highest temperature worldwide is right now and what the lowest temperature worldwide is now. Now, those temperatures refer to world cities, so there may be higher or lower temperatures away from those cities. This is going to be updated live. Now, hopefully you will see the tick over. I've got it on a 5-minute timer, and if the temperature in London changes, you should see those changes on this worksheet without me cheating by touching the keyboard at all. Now, where did I get this data from? Well, I used a website called timeanddate.com, and I've used data on world capitals. Now, where did I get this data from? Well, I used a website called timeanddate.com, and I used data on world capitals. Now, I've edited that data, so I've done a get, and I've done some basic editing on the query, and I've edited the data for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is to do with temperature, and the other reason is to remove extraneous pieces of information. So if you have a think back to the last section of the course, you'll get a good idea of exactly what I've done. What I'm going to do in a moment is to show you the web pages that I got this source data from, but as you can see within the table, we have capitals of the world, the day and time. Columns 4 and 8 show the current weather conditions, and columns 5 and 9 show the temperature in degrees Celsius. Let me go back to the first worksheet. And what I've done is use some of the functions we saw earlier on in the course to locate the weather in London from the table that's created by the get and transform. The connection is set on a 5-minute refresh, and amongst the functions I have used there, let's look at the highest temperature worldwide. So I'm going to click in cell F5, and you can see that I've used a max function. The max function is applied to two ranges. Each range is a column in the weather table. Now, if you're not used to using tables in Excel, we're actually going to start looking at tables in the next section. So if you're not comfortable with tables, you can maybe do this exercise after the next few sections on tables. If you are familiar with tables, you'll know how easy it is to refer to a column in a table. And of course, one of the biggest advantages of referring to a column in a table is that you don't need to know exactly how many rows in it, and you don't need to deal with changes in the number of rows. So that is where I get the max temperature from. And of course, a similar principle applies to getting the min temperature. And in terms of finding the time in London, the conditions in London, and the temperature, I used VLOOKUP functions. So let's switch over and take a look at that website, timeanddate.com. There are a couple of selections I have made there. So I've said sort by city, and I've said show capitals. So this is the capital cities of the world. And as I said, I had to do a couple of edits to this query, and one of them was to remove at least one extraneous column. And the other one is that when you import this into Excel, the temperature doesn't come in as numbers, it comes in as text. So for instance, the temperature in Abu Dhabi at the moment is 19 degrees Celsius. So in order to find the highest one, we need to deal with converting that temperature from a text string to a number, the number 19 in this case. But based on what we covered in the previous sections, you shouldn't find that too much of a problem. Now, if you wanted to try something as a bit of a further challenge, you may want to try something like making a list of the capital cities that have the highest temperature at a particular time, and also maybe the lowest temperature at a particular time. That's the end of this section. I will see you in the next one.